I am a poor wayfarer.
Just to catch up what we done on Chris's Jeep. So we're changing the serpentine belt, and we're also going to drain the radiator because he's having a thermostat code P0128. It's staying open, so the engine's actually running too cool. He's only doing about 186 degrees. But anyway, while the coolant, the antifreeze, and the engine is cooling down, we thought, well, let's take the plenum out. Let's get the air filter box out. We disconnected the negative on the battery. We just disconnected this plug here and the 12 volts to the alternator. So next thing is we're going to be getting a 1/2-inch driver down there, a breaker bar on that hydraulic belt tensioner, loosen it, and we'll probably just pull the belt right here off the power steering pump. So that's where we are right now. Also, when we took that air intake off, on that plenum, there's this air temperature sensor. We just disconnected that, had a little lock on it, and you squeeze it. That's where we are. All right, you can see my big breaker bar, 24-inch breaker bar. Had to compress that little hydraulic ram there, and then I was very easily able to take the belt off the power steering pulley. So the next thing will be to undo the bracket. There's a bracket with a bunch of bolts underneath the alternator, then the alternator. Gonna remove all of that. Why? Because the alternator is backwards, it faces this way, so you can't actually take the belt completely off. It'll get all locked up in there, so the alternator has to go. All right, so we had a 16mm bolt in the middle of this bracket, a 13 down on the bottom, a 13 over here. This is at least gonna get the bracket off, it should. Then we have, I think, two 15mm bolts that actually go through into the block that actually hold the alternator. So we'll find out. It's coming apart pretty good. Just a look at the bracket that's underneath the alternator. You can see two long bolts, the one on the bottom. Then you've got the 16mm in the middle, and then the two 13mm on the top. So the next thing will be those two, this bolt right here and right here. And you can see here, because the bolt, I'm just taking because the belt's already loose, just took it right off the pulley. So I should be able to pull that alternator off momentarily. Okay. One Jeep JK alternator, there you go. Okay, one serpentine belt for a JK. There's the new belt. We're gonna hold them up, make a comparison, make sure they're the right length. All right, nice little diagram here, pretty cut and dry. We basically just put the belt all the way around, and we put it around the alternator. So when we do the tensioner, I'll zoom in there. When we compress the tensioner, then the last thing will be to put the belt on the power steering pulley. So pretty straightforward job. It's going nicely, no problems. Okay, so you can easily put the alternator back on with the two 15mm bolts. And then this extra must be a vibration bracket or something for extra strength. The key is to get this middle long bolt lined up, 16mm. Then you got another long 13mm at the bottom. And then you can see these shorter bolts right here. These just pass through the alternator, and then the threads are on the bracket on the other side. So pretty straightforward. We're gonna tighten that up. Going really well. Right, you can see that the positive connector is on. I think this is the another plug right here, maybe for the rectifier, maybe that rectifies the AC that's being generated. And you can see a little bit of slack right there on the power steering pump. So I'm gonna put the breaker bar back in there and crank over on that belt tensioner, crank it down. I'm gonna be turning it clockwise as you're facing the front of the motor. And then Chris will put that belt on the pulley of the power steering pump, and that belt should be all set. All right, the belt's back on, no problem. I don't know, maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes. And that was with us talking. Just opened up the radiator cap. This is where you can be fooled, because there's like a piece of plastic right in there, and it's shiny. It can be wet, but we got some level there. So next thing we're gonna be doing is I sprayed some penetrating oil on the bottom of the valve that you open to drain this, because there's a rubber gasket in there and it's never been opened, so we don't want to have any problems. So that's been sitting. So I got to get underneath the Jeep, get some channel locks or something, and turn it counterclockwise and get this thing to drain. You can see that I've got a 3/8 fuel line hose fit on it, and we'll get a catch pan underneath there. All right, I'm zooming in. See where I'm shining the light? There's your radiator valve. You can see I got a little fuel line hose on it. I got to turn that thing counterclockwise, probably a good 180 degrees. The radiator cap is off, so hopefully once we start turning that, we'll get some flow. It's almost gone too. So after quite a bit of finagling to get a pair of pliers on this thing, and then you got to be careful because the valve will come out. Basically, you turn it 180 degrees. So we're just letting that drain. You can see it right there. That's good. All right, new thermostat right here. You can see there's a gasket that goes around right there. Bleeder valve on the top right there. Goes to the right. That's what we want, to the upper radiator hose. Looks good. Looks to be the right piece. So that's just sitting in the go position. As you can see, we're still draining coolant right here. Then we'll be braking. We'll get this electrical connection out of the way. We'll be squeezing that hose clamp right there and taking the upper radiator hose, pulling it off the thermostat. 10mm bolt there, one on the bottom. Okay, you can see this half-ass coolant funnel. Comes with a few different color caps. There's a gasket that goes in there. Unfortunately, the piece of shit fell and we got a tiny crack right there. Then you have a plug here that stops the coolant from going down. So you pour the coolant in, then you can lift this up. It'll flow through. Obviously, we'll be opening up the vent when we change it and get the air out. A little bit of pain in the ass, but I think we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. We're still, we're just about done there. We probably can open up that, actually, what I probably should do is just remove this hose and wrestle with this thing and turn that damn valve and be done with it at this point. So I think that's what we're gonna do. All right, you can see the valve now. It's in the up and down position. I was basically able to use some needle nose type of vice grips. You can see it right there. Goes back in, it's vertical up and down. Now I can remove that hose on the bottom. Just assume have this done, this part, not have to wrestle with it later. Goes in a lot easier than it comes out, I can tell you that. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in. I took the pick tool, broke the seal. This will pull off in a second. Expecting some coolant. Well, obviously I'll pull it that way and try to turn it upward and stop a lot of that coolant from going all over the place. Underneath the Jeep, we got a couple containers here. Just try to stop it, and then we got the hose ready to rinse it fast. So once that's off, then we'll undo those two bolts and pull that thermostat. All right, I used the minigun to, one of the bolts was kind of tough. Let's see what we have here. Here we go. You're seeing it live. You can see the gasket stayed on the block. Here's the piece of shit thermostat right here. Okay, and I'm gonna zoom in. See this gasket right here stuck to the block? Peel that off of there, and I'm gonna get some brake cleaner and clean that up nice. You can see it right here. All right, let me zoom in there. I took some 600 grit sandpaper, cleaned around that assembly there really good. Took some brake cleaner, a clean rag. No worries, it's nice and clean. Momentarily, we'll put the new thermostat on there. I've got my 1/4-inch torque wrench set for 105 inch-pounds, and we'll bolt that up, and we'll also open up the vent at the top, so that's already loose, and because obviously when we pour the coolant in, we want all the air bubbles to get out. All right, and get these bolts tightened up to 106 inch-pounds, snugging up a little bit on the top, work on the bottom a little bit. All right, getting close to the top again. Getting close. Okay, here we go. There it is. Okay, to the bottom. There it is, 106 inch-pounds. Okay, now the bleeder is open. That's nice. We'll hook the hose up here shortly. All right, you can see the hose clamp is in position. The bleeder valve is open. We got our half-ass funnel here. Don't know if it's worth the money we spent, but we'll try it out. We're gonna put some coolant in there soon, 50-50 premix, etc., etc. Then we should hear some air coming out of that thing, and then we'll close it up by hand and then get a straight blade screwdriver holding it horizontally and tighten it up when all the air bubbles are out. There we go. This is what we're putting in the 2017 JKU. Okay, you can see that the coolant is sitting here in the go position. It is leaking a little bit right there, I think, so because it cracked, but it's going to serve our purpose. And I'm just going to zoom in. I'll point with a screwdriver. Right there's the bleeder. You can see it's very much open right now. We should hear some air come out. Chris is going to pull the plunger on that funnel. Coolant's going to start going in. I should see the air bubbles. Once I get a good solid stream of coolant, then I'll close it up by hand. Then I'll use this straight blade screwdriver horizontally on that opening and tighten it up. All right, we got one of those Alexas. It's been killing us with some candy ass music. Got a little Dire Straits playing. All right, go ahead. Get a pull? Okay. Coolant's going in. Oh, I can. Yeah, you better get the coolant and start pouring some more in there. Yep. Pour some more in there. Wow, it took all of that, and I can hear the air coming out of the vent. Pour away, brother. Pour away. Okay.
Should I put the plunger back in? And
Yeah. Wow, it took all of that, huh? I could hear the air coming out of the breather. That's good. Save a little bit. We'll probably be pouring the residual in there. Okay, go ahead. Okay, Chris is pulling the plunger. So far this thing, even though it cracked, it's working pretty good.
yeah.
Yep. Hear the air? There you go. We got some air bubbles. This is where it gets a little messy. Pour some more in there. Did it equalize? I don't have a steady stream yet, so.
A couple air bubbles came up out into here.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's going in anymore.
Yeah, I think I'm getting some solid flow. Pour some more in, Chris. Yeah, I'm getting solid flow now. Okay. Let me close this up by hand. Nice. All right, just hand tight. I'm gonna get the Phillips screwdriver on that. All right, the air box is installed. The plenum that goes to the throttle body. We're gonna add more coolant here. The bleeder is closed. That's nice. Obviously, we want the engine to heat up and that thermostat to open. At some point, when the thermostat opens, this upper radiator hose will get hot. Right now it's cold, so we're gonna let it run. Oh, Chris, turn the heat on too. Make sure we wanna get some heat. All right, so Chris has the heat on. Belt's working nicely. You can see our coolant funnel system's working good. Obviously, we want the thermostat to open, start circulating the coolant through the motor. At some point it will. Again, I believe we were getting a P0128. Seemed as though the engine wasn't getting hot enough. Stuck open thermostat. We did that. We did the serpentine belt. Right now we're just trying to get all the air bubbles out of the system and fill the radiator. The overflow reservoir also has a max line on it down there halfway. Another part of the job we'll be doing sometime soon is we're going to be taking the whole upper plenum off, putting 6 new spark plugs in, 6 new coil packs. So we got new plenum gaskets. We got all the stuff for that. That'll be another day. Chris had received a number 5 not firing error code, and we're just gonna, it's got 100,000 miles on it, damn near close. It's time to change the plugs and the coil packs. No big deal. Okay, the heat is on, 201 degrees. It's not really blowing hot air yet. Still cold. Come on, baby, open up. All right, we got some activity here. Oh yeah. Upper radiator hose is finally getting warm. Yep. Terrific, terrific. Thermostat opened. That's why it dropped right back down to 190. All right, I'm gonna say almost 20 minutes, 25 minutes. The radiator hose, we got super freaking hot heat. I think this is a success. No more bubbles at all. Thermostat opened and closed probably 3 or 4 different times. Yeah, we're happy with this. I think we got this thing good. Great heat. I think we have success. So Chris just put the plunger in that. We'll be pulling this off and putting the radiator cap on. I think we can shut the engine down. Not bad. All right, we used a Torx 15 right here at the 10 o'clock position right there on the passenger, 2 o'clock position on the driver. You can see that I got a blue piece of tape that's 3 feet off the ground right there. And I've got a blue piece of tape right here. That's the 25 foot mark. And then basically his headlights are about 6 inches above the line. Now you can see you're right where you need to be. And obviously with the 35-inch tires and a 2.5-inch suspension lift, a lot of people were flashing their headlights at him with the new LED lights, but he should be just fine. I did the same thing on my Jeep a couple weeks ago, so we're in good shape.
I know dark clouds